In our previous video, we talked about social issues in South Korea. If you haven't watched that video yet, I suggest you watch it first. If you have seen it, keep on watching. Today, we'll be discussing South Korean etiquette and fun facts. In other words, we won't be making you sad.
Let's start with the basics. When first meeting someone, if you aren't sure how formal you should be polite as possible. After all, it never hurts to play it safe. When it comes to specifics such as shaking hands, wait for the oldest person to extend their hand first. To show proper respect while shaking hands, place your left hand under your right forearm.
When it comes to bowing, the person of a higher rank bows first. You should return their bow, making sure to bow a little lower than them. Although there are many types of bows, most are done at 45 degrees with the person bowing keeping their head lowered until the count of 3. An important thing to keep in mind is that a bow is often followed by a handshake, at least when the people involved are men.
So you made it past the greeting stage. What do you do next? Perhaps you go to a restaurant. In that case, I suggest you pay attention closely. In South Korea, food is shared a lot with people getting the food using their chopsticks or a serving spoon. It is considered polite to serve other people before yourself and to serve food evenly. For example, don't give yourself all the meat. Similarly, drinks are often shared. However, when it comes to drinks, you don't share a cup. Instead, you share the first drink, but drink at the same time as everyone else. The drink consumed is typically soju, a Korean alcoholic beverage. You don't have to drink soju to be considered polite. Just drink at the same time as everyone else. During this first drink, you start by clinking glasses. When clinking glasses, make sure your cup hits the other person's cup evenly. Another thing you should keep in mind is that you will look bad if you seem greedy. To avoid looking greedy, refuse the first offer you hear of getting second helpings.
Now that you've got the eating down, what about the talking? For starters, try and respect the culture of South Korea. Stay positive when talking about the country and avoid criticizing the country. Safe topics to talk about are topics found in small talk, such as sports and TV. As for personal questions, these are typically asked during first introductions.
When trying to be polite, you should try to stay aware of your words and your hand gestures. When waving someone over, keep your hand pointed downwards. This motion is most easily understood as being an upside-down wave. Try to avoid waving to people the way you're used to if you are a Westerner. That way is typically used on dogs.
Other instances that the motions of your hands matter include handing money over or accepting gifts. When you hand money over to buy something, show proper respect by putting your free hand on the arm you are using to hand over the money. If you are the one doing the accepting and are receiving something like a gift or business card, receive the gift with 2 hands. Never write on a business card you are given, and wait to open wrapped gifts. The key thing to keep in mind here is that thank you cards for gifts or dinners are appreciated and can even be expected.
Now it's about time to get to the fun part of the video. Let's discuss a popular hand game by the name of DBDBD. First, in this game, the leader creates a series of hand gestures. The follower must attempt to avoid making the same gesture as the leader, or the leader gets a point. This game may sound simple, but it isn't. After all, both players are required to move quickly.
Mung mung.
Did you just bark at me?
Yep, I barked at you using a South Korean animal sound. South Korean animal sounds differ from the ones us Americans use. For instance, we claim that dogs say bark bark or woof, while South Koreans claim that dogs say mung mung.
Yaong! I just meowed at you using a South Korean animal sound. Next, I'm going to talk about using my favorite South Korean animal sound.
Silence?
Yep, there is no South Korean animal sounds for snakes or rabbits.
You know, silence is pretty unsettling. Just like the story we're going to tell to conclude this video.
That's right, in the spirit of Halloween, we decided to tell you a South Korean ghost story.
Although the story of the Red Masked Lady, also known as Kuchisake Onna, or Slit-Mouthed Woman, originates from Japan, the story is also told in South Korea. In fact, the story or legend of the Red Masked Lady starts as far back as 1970 in both Japan and Korea.
The story involves a future victim walking home by themselves at night. While walking, they come across a woman wearing a surgical mask. She asks the victim if she is pretty, and if the victim says no, she kills them. If the victim says yes, she removes her mask, revealing her partially ripped face. Once the victim can see her face, she asks the question again. If the victim says no now, she kills them. If the victim says yes at this point, she attacks the victim and makes their face match hers.
Okay. So now you're probably wondering, is there any way for the victim not to die or get their face mutilated? The answer to that question is quite simple. You just have to tell her you're in a hurry and have no time to talk to her.
Speaking of hurries, our videos are short because they're made for people who are in a bit of a hurry. And if you are busy, I suggest you take the time to subscribe. Subscribing is free and should notify you when we upload a video. For all of October, we made videos about South Korea. Next month, we'll be focusing on Japan.
Stick around, you might just learn something.